Hello again. Today we are going to tie a humongous. It's like a humongous. I'd call it a woolly bugger, to be fair, but this fly, the way it's tied and everything and the materials is called a humongous, but it's very much like a woolly bugger. Great little streamer pattern. It works for trout, it works for perch, it works for bass, you know, it's anything that eats small minnow type things will eat this. There's a few different things I'd do to it actually if I was fishing it in the salt water, but this is one for the freshwater still waters. So I'm just going to pop this one out, and in the vise I'm going to put a 4x long streamer hook. This is a size 10. But you can always use size 8s work well. If I'm using it in the sea, I might step it up to a size 1 even. Just going to lock that in the vise. Thread is UTC Ultra, and it's in black and it's 140. I'm just going to run it through the wax a couple of times. Run it back on. It's quite fun to tie this fly. I quite enjoy this fly. Enjoy tying it. So I'm going to start the thread a little ways behind the eye, and I'm going to run the thread down until we get opposite where the barb is on the hook in nice, neat, touching turns. Just going to trim. And now we're going to tie in the tail. The tail is just black marabou. But I quite like a lot of tail in these humongouses. Humongi. I wonder if it's humongous or humongi. Anyway, I take off quite a bit of black marabou. Like I said, I like my tails on these humongouses to be quite chunky. It's quite a chunky fly anyway. So there's a nice big chunk of marabou. And length, I like it to be about 2 hook shanks long. So I'm just going to neaten the end up. I'm going to strip away some of the fluff from the end of the marabou, same as we always do. And I'm going to, the dye comes off the black marabou. It's the worst one for it, and it gets on your fingers, look. Anyway, I'm going to catch that in, and I'm just going to run it up nice and tight with the thread, and I'm going to have a look. That's all right. I'm actually going to add a little bit more marabou to that. I actually want it to be a little bit more chunky. So I'm just going to run some moisture through it and have a look. Yeah, just a little tiny bit. It was the end of that feather, so I'll just get, whoopsie daisy. Just get another little pinch of marabou. You know, always change things. We've said this before when I've tied. If it doesn't look right, you'll never fish it. I'm just going to run my thread back. I'm going to catch this extra chunk. Whoopsie! Catch it on the side. Let thread taut kind of roll it around to the top, and then just tie that in nice and tight. I'm actually supporting the hook with my left hand because, as you can see, it's a wobbly hook. And that's better. Length, like I said, about 2 hook shanks long. So that's lovely. Nice big chunky tail. Flash this is just a fine flashabou, and it's in holographic copper and silver. I've just taken some out the packet. Just a fair bit really. You're going to make sure the ends are nicely tapered, which they are. If not, just pull them out a bit. I'm going to wet my fingers and run it through, and it kind of helps you make this flashabou behave. It's very mobile, and I want the flashabou to be right on top of the hook, and I want it to be spread. So these are fairly loose open turns I'm doing here, and when I get to the back, I'm just going to get my nail and push down and see how it's spread. Now we can trim, and now we can wax the thread again and neaten everything up. So come on up. Support the hook if you have to. Stop it bending all out of shape. And there we go. Now I'm going to come back. And I'm going to tie in my rib. The rib is just a silver wire. It's a medium silver wire. So I'd normally keep this on the spool again, but I'm just going to make life easy for myself and cut a little bit off. I'm going to catch this in on the side. As you can see, I've caught it on my side. Run the thread back and then come back with the thread halfway. Just get that wire out your way for a minute. Now the body on this fly is 6mm cactus chenille. Again, we're going to keep this on the card. It's easy to, it's less wasteful, sorry. I'm going to pull some out the end. And it bears the string, which is the core. Catch that on. Don't be too fussed how it goes on, if it rolls or anything like that around the shank. Don't worry about it. And then run the thread all the way back up, nice and tight. Now I've got a little tiny ramp here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back and forth a little bit to equal this out. Or to make the ramp less steep. And now I'm going to come around with the cactus chenille. Sweep everything back after every single turn. And we're just going to come up. You can do this with your rotary vise, but like I've said before, I'm so used to doing it like this. This is how I do it. After you've done a good few turns, supporting the hook, pull it tight, and you'll find it will stretch, really tighten up. We're going to come all the way till you're about 5mm-ish from the hook eye. Come over with your thread, catch it. A few turns. I don't know why my working thread is as long as it is. Must have unwound. And then minding the thread, come in, trim, take away the cactus chenille, sweep everything back. Try and tidy this area now. And now we're going to put a base of thread, nice waxed base of thread, down here, ready for our hackle and our bead chain eyes. So, hackle is just, this is like a genetic saddle hackle. I use it for tails on pike flies and stuff. Now I want the feather, I want the fibres to be a little longer than the gape. That's perfect. So I'm going to take the feather off the skin. I'm going to take away the fuzzies. And I'm going to tie this in at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to double check I've got wax on the thread, which is really important. 45-degree angle, right up against the chenille. Do a couple of turns, see how it's sitting. I like that, and then tighten, wind down towards the hook eye. They were really tight turns, pretty much as tight as you can do it without snapping your thread. Here we go. We're going to come back up to where we were. Now I'd normally do it with my fingers. I'm just going to see how this is sitting. Yep, that's all right. Sometimes they won't, if they don't start properly, then it makes the rest of it really difficult, but that one's all right. I always kind of check before I start. I'm going to clip my hackle pliers on the end. Come on. And then we're going to come round at the top 3 times. There's 1, 2, 3. And now I'm going to come down the body in open turns, palmering it down the body. Just take your time. Just come down. Oh, if they slip on you, just slipped out the pliers. Don't panic. Start again. 1. Oh, it's being a monkey now, isn't it? It's all right. Just be patient with it. Some feathers always want to fight you. 1, 2, 3 turns at the top again. And then we're going to come down the body. Just take your time. Some feathers will always fight you. This one's being a right mare, isn't it? Come on. 3 turns at the front. Then we come down. You just got to be patient. You know, I could start these videos again when things like that happen, but this is how it is. This is how fly tying is sometimes. So, you know, then we take our wire, we're going to catch that feather, take it out the pliers. I'm just going to wet my tail to keep it out of the way, and then we're going to come up with the wire, wiggling it through, and it just reinforces the hackle. Just wiggle, 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 wiggle. Try not to catch too many. You will catch some, but hey ho. And we get to the front. I'm going to do one complete revolution. I'm going to follow it up with my thread. I'm going to put a 90-degree bend into the wire, and I'm going to do a couple of turns down, nice and tight. Now, I'm going to come in. Normally I'd just helicopter that off, but I just happen to have those pliers there because for cutting the bead chain eyes. Now, make sure there's plenty of wax on the thread, and we're going to tidy this area ready to receive bead chain eyes. Now, bead chain eyes, it's literally sink plug chain that I may or may not have just nicked from the sink in the toilet. The plug still reaches the plug hole. We're going to sit these on top. I've just cut them, just cut a pair off with my pliers, with my wire cutters. Let me catch it on the top, couple of turns, come around the back one, the other one, sorry, couple of turns, keep them straight. I'm going to do a few turns behind them. And now I'm just going to sort of figure eight through the eyes. You've got to watch the fibres of the hackle, because they do want to get caught. And then I'm going to come over the hook and under the eyes. You know, it's exactly the same as tying dumbbell eyes on a Klauser minnow or something. We're going to make sure they're straight, which they are. Just have a look at your fly. Now I'm going to just take the tip of that feather off because I forgot to do it. And now all we're going to do is we're going to put some varnish in between those dumbbell eyes on both sides. Varnish this all up. Don't be shy with the varnish. Then we're going to come in with a whip finish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need to do 7 at all. 4's plenty. Oh, look at that. Don't know why that's doing that. It's actually being a bit of an arse there. Right. There we go. Let's tighten that up. Like I've said before, I'm not claiming to be any kind of expert at doing this. I sell a lot of flies and I don't really get any complaints so far. Touch wood. But like I said, this is how fly tying is. Things like that happen on you all the time. There's your fly. That is the Humongous Streamer. They're great fun to fish because, you know, when trout are on sticklebacks and stuff, they absolutely hammer these. The takes can be heart-stopping. So, thank you again for watching. Thanks for your time. I do appreciate you. Sorry for whittering on like I do. It's, you know, I'm a bit of a chatterbox. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help when people subscribe to the channel. And give this fly a go. You know, the materials are pretty cheap in this fly, so there's nothing... you know, it's a simple fly to tie as well. Cool. Thanks for watching.